What is that which makes a city smart? Is that the sensors? Is that the actuators which are connected? Or is it a good traffic management system? Or smart buildings? Or something else? I was keep on discounting things. And at last I came to a conclusion that the people who live in the cities are the ones who are going to make the city smart. If the people are not smart enough, any actuator or a sensor will fail to make the city to the next level of evolution. With that note, I was doing some research. Okay, how the smart cities are there, out there in the world, how they are working. And I got two examples with very solid stories. And when I was looking at them, technology was only an enabler. The people who made the difference or making the difference and will make the difference. To start with my first story, I took this Swedish trash management system. It's one of the amazing ways a trash is managed in Stockholm city, where the trash bins trashes are segregated and collected, and it travels underneath the ground at 70 kilometers per hour speed to the nearest incinerator and burnt over there. What a system it is. Here, the people are involved at that level of trash bin. They know how to segregate and put what in which bin. It might sound very, very simple, but that is what we are missing. This awareness is supposed to be there among every human being. To add something more about Sweden, the population is highly educated, and the highest count of PhD holders who drive cabs is on the lighter side or serious side. I don't know exactly, but there is some message coming over here. And 99% of household waste is recycled. What it means, also the Sweden imports 800,000 tons of waste from UK and other nearby countries. Where we are, we have a lot of trash, which I'm going to show you. And the other information is 700 kg of treated garbage is equal to, or it produces 250 kg of fuel oil. I think the business minds over here are thinking already, wow, there is something we have. So this awareness has to be imparted with every human being. What I mean is a change should come within that individual for the better tomorrow. I can take many examples. Trash management is not the only one, but this is something very, very important. That's what our Prime Minister is telling. We can have some sort of sensors attached to the trash bin, and we can measure the quality of the trash and store that data such a way that we can analyze in the future for something else, which is going to come in a couple of slides from here. This awareness is important, very, very important. We can turn, or we could have turned this whole garbage into money or wealth. It's not very late. We have to build technology enablers to achieve this awareness among people. I reiterate my point. It's not the sensors and actuators which are going to make the difference. It's the people, the human being. At his heart, he has to see or visualize the change which he wants to have. Moving on to my second story, people participation in public life. That's very, very important. Is it okay if I sit in my room and then thinking, wow, something will happen in my street so that my street will be clean enough in the future? No, I have to go and clean the garbage. My second story is, in 2008, Chennai faced an incessant rain and the areas were flooded like this. Have you guys heard of, Chennai flood anywhere? Once in a while it happens. And what you're seeing is a street named Ashram Avenue, and one side of the street is where the people live, the houses are there. The other side is a drainage. A nearby lake, whenever it breaches, this canal gets filled, and then the water has to move to the nearby river. You can see there is a wall, 18-feet wall was broken, and when the rain water was receding, at the time this photograph was taken, probably almost 5 days later that whole rain got stopped. People evolve under pressure. I remember inside the house the water was flowing almost at 8 to 9 feet. This street is such an example. We don't need to go to Sweden to take an example or an inspiration. This is how it got transformed right now. What it is? People, the local people, put money, collected together, and strengthened the walls of the canal. And they planted, strong trees, and then, they did work on their own. Subsequently, when some progress was happening, the federal agencies came into account and they raised the road. It's not a tar road, this is a concrete road. This is disruption at people level, not technology disruption. There is something common between Stockholm and the Ashram Avenue, where the population is less, literacy level is high, and people had participated in public affairs. They had their own fights, where to keep the tree, which tree to keep, but eventually they came together, they achieved together. So these problems are global, and for all the global problems, we cannot give global solutions. The locals has to come into picture. For global problems, or for example, Chennai's problem, I think Chennai people are the best one to fix, not someone sitting in Stockholm or Seattle. So for this, how a technology can help. What kind of technology will bring people together? How or what kind of technology will bring the change in the individual? We human beings are not a collaborators. Basically, we are competitors. We basically want to see the other person, wow, how better I am than that guy. If we ask them to work together and come up with a solution, there is always an issue. But the technology can help us. But there is something underlying, very common among all human beings. We seek recreation, recognition, and rewards, the 3 R's. Whether we can tap this particular thing and bring out some sort of a application or a portal or an platform which can make a cohesion among our neighbors. I believe change should happen at your home, and then that emanates to your locality, streets, and area, and further to city, and make it smart. So as I spoke, recreation, recognition, and reward, how we are going to give fun to the people, and how we are going to recognize them, and what kind of rewards we can give them. Dr. Verbeck from Wharton School of Management gives this theory called gamification. It's not game theory, it's gamification. It is a game-like system for non-game situations. For example, a serious thing can be considered or taken as a fun element. For example, energy conservation. We can give some sort of a point system. I can compare with my neighbor. Okay, if I conserve energy, or if my number of units consumed this particular quarter is less than something, I'll be awarded something like that. And then I can have a leaderboards. Leaderboards tells, I'll show you the example. This is what the example. 10 points every time waste are segregated and dropped. You can have a sensor, RFID sensor, in the trash bin, which measures the quality of the trash. And if it is good, you are awarded with 10 points. 100 points for smart home, where energy is conserved. 500 points, consistent reduction or maintenance of energy consumption. 1,000 points for using public transportation or carpooling, so that you will reduce the CO2 emission. Eventually, you will be awarded as a smart citizen. First at your home, and at your street, and at your area, and at your city. A typical leaderboard looks like this, where the people who share the data are come together and see where they stand in achieving smart cities. But actually, what is happening is the people are changing slowly. Our fundamental thing for these kind of ideas is those 3 R's: recreation, recognition, and rewards. And on the reward part, is it possible for us, especially the federal agencies, to integrate this kind of point system with your tax or income tax thing, where if you reach some level, you get tax rebates? I am posting questions to you guys, okay? And my hope is the change will happen. It is not very far from now. Thank you.